Why teams move slowly, approval drag, and decision rights. I'm Curtis Stoaks. Most teams are not slow because they lack urgency. They are slow because too many decisions require permission. A routine choice needs one more review. A manager wants alignment before acting. A cross-functional trade-off gets elevated for visibility. A senior leader asks to stay close. Another stakeholder is included because they may have an opinion. Each step appears reasonable. Together, they create approval drag. Approval drag is the delay, dependency, and information distortion created when decisions move through more approval layers than the actual risk requires. The visible cost is time. The deeper cost is weaker ownership. Once people believe progress requires permission, they stop deciding close to the work. They begin managing upward. They wait. They escalate. They over-consult. They package information carefully for the center. They ask who needs to be comfortable before they ask who should actually decide. That is not simply a slow process. It is an authority design problem. Authority is one of the 5 forces: incentives, authority, information flow, accountability, consequence. Authority determines who can act, who can decide, who can block action, and who carries responsibility for the result. When authority is clear, execution moves. When authority is vague, meetings multiply. Responsibility becomes ceremonial. People appear to own outcomes, but the real decision remains somewhere above them. That is how organizations create responsibility without authority. A manager is told to own delivery, but cannot control scope. A team is accountable for speed, but cannot remove an approval. An employee is told to use judgment, but every meaningful decision gets reopened. A business unit owns the result, but budget, staffing, pricing, and customer commitments all sit somewhere else. Then, when execution slows, leaders ask for more accountability. But accountability without legitimate authority is not accountability. It is displacement. The organization is assigning responsibility to one layer while keeping decision power in another. That mismatch creates hesitation, and hesitation is usually interpreted incorrectly. Leaders may conclude that the team lacks confidence. The team may actually be responding rationally to the system. They have learned that acting carries more risk than waiting. They have learned that involving more people provides political protection. They have learned that senior visibility is safer than independent judgment, so they escalate. Not because they are incapable, because escalation is what the system rewards. This is where alignment starts becoming permission. Real alignment clarifies the objective and the final call. Permission does something different. Permission transfers the decision upward. The language may sound collaborative. We should socialize this. Let's make sure everyone is comfortable. None of those statements are automatically wrong. But when they become routine, alignment substitutes for authority. People stop asking, who owns this decision? They start asking, who might object? That is how decision-making becomes political, because authority is no longer legible. A durable organization makes 4 things clear: who decides, who advises, who must be informed, what threshold requires escalation. Those roles are not interchangeable. Someone can provide input without holding approval authority. Someone can be informed without having a veto. Someone can disagree without reopening a decision. This distinction matters. Many organizations treat every stakeholder like an approver. When ownership belongs to everyone, it belongs to no one. The team begins optimizing for agreement instead of judgment. Meetings get longer. Trade-offs get softened. The goal is informed placement. Put the decision where the best relevant information exists. People closest to the work often hold the freshest information. The farther it moves, the more translation enters. The work gets summarized. Context gets compressed. Information gets packaged. One useful distinction is the difference between reversible and irreversible decisions. An irreversible decision creates a different burden. It may involve major capital or legal exposure. Weak systems treat too many reversible decisions as if they require executive review. That creates unnecessary delay. Discomfort is not the same as material risk. Sometimes the correct response is a clear standard, not executive approval. Telling someone, "You own this," is not enough. They also need to know when the decision stops belonging to them. Now the team has room to act, not because uncertainty has disappeared, because uncertainty has been bounded. There is one more requirement. Local decisions must be protected after they are made. A senior leader would have chosen differently, so they reopen it. That is how local authority disappears. Strong leaders protect legitimate decisions. Every legitimate local decision strengthens judgment. Every unnecessary override weakens it. How do you know if approval drag is slowing you? Start with the last 10 decisions that escalated. You may discover that the organization does not have a speed problem. It has a decision rights problem. The correction is structural. Name one owner. Separate advice from approval. Match authority with accountability. That is how decision velocity improves. Senior leaders stop adjudicating routine work. Managers build judgment. That is durable performance. Clear decision rights inside clear boundaries. If this is useful, visit curtisstoaks.com. Subscribe for more on the forces of performance. Capable teams don't need permission for every routine decision. They need authority that is clear enough to use.